Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're on lesson number 9 talking about points, lines, rays, and line segments. These are all vocabulary words that are really important for geometry, so grab your notebook. I want you to write some things down. All right, first things first, we're going to talk about a point. That's an exact location and it is not measurable because a point can be a tiny little pinprick or it can be a big point. It's just an exact location somewhere in space. If it's highlighted in orange or if I have it circled in orange, you need to write it down in your notebook because you're going to want to know that definition. Okay, the way we write that is just like point A or point, use the words point. Line, it's an endless connection of points. It is also not measurable. It goes on from one direction to the other. There's no end on either side. We write that as like this guy right here is line AB. And I haven't done a very good job of writing it like this, but you would usually write it like line AB like this, just showing, hey, that's a line. Okay, our next one is a ray. It's a line with one endpoint and it's not measurable. Think about if you took like a laser and you had it on Earth and you shot it out into space. That would have an endpoint, which is Earth, where your laser starts, but it doesn't have an endpoint because it goes all the way out. So that's a ray. The way we write that is like this guy right here. So this is ray AB. And again, I don't know that I did a great job of showing you, but you've got to be very careful to make sure your endpoint matches. So A is your endpoint on this one. All right, a segment is part of the line with two endpoints. This guy is measurable and this is how we write it. So this is segment AB and we write it as AB. Now, sometimes you may see it extended out like this past the line. And so we're just talking about that particular chunk when we say segment AB like that. A postulate. So a postulate is something so obvious it doesn't have to be proven. Now you'll talk more about this when you get into geometry, but I think it's fun to introduce new terms. It's something so obvious, you don't have to prove it. Like it's obvious that it's there. The first postulate that we'll introduce you to is what we call the segment addition postulate. Now, this one says, hey, if you have A, B, and C in a line here, and B is right in the middle, then AB plus BC equals AC, that whole thing. So this tiny bit plus this medium-sized bit equals the whole large thing. Obviously that's true, right? Like you don't have to prove it that it's true because that's quite obvious. So that's going to be helpful for some of our examples today. Example number 1, we have AB and equals 3 and AC equals 7. Find BC. Well, our segment addition postulate says, so there's two different ways you can do this. You could probably look at this and see, okay, AB is 3, and then we know this whole AC is 7. So it's probably pretty obvious that BC is 4. But you could also do it this way and say, well, AB plus BC equals AC. And we know AB is 3. We don't know what BC is, so we're going to leave that. Equals AC, which is 7. Now, if I minus 3 from both sides, I get that BC by itself. And so now I have BC equals 4. So that's just a different way of doing it as things become more challenging. But in the meantime, you can just sketch it out and look to see. All right, so grab your notebook, make sure that you write this one down. Your angles, you want to make sure that you've got all these guys right here. These angles, pause the video if you need to. We have a right angle, we have an acute angle, we have an obtuse angle, and a straight angle. An acute angle is a cute one. It's tiny. It's less than 90 degrees. Obtuse is greater than 90 degrees, and a straight angle is 180 degrees. Okay, so the other thing that I want you to write down is perimeter. All you have to do for finding the perimeter of a figure is add up all the sides. Now, that's kind of weird when it's a circle, so we call it circumference because you can't add up the sides of a circle. So the perimeter of a circle is called the circumference. But for everything else, you just add up all the sides. So you'll find through this book, you get these weird shapes that look like this, and they say, hey, find the perimeter of this figure. So what you do is add up all the sides. So we have 7 and 7 is 14. 10 and 8 is 18. And then plus 17 plus 15. All right, so that is 9, 17, and 7, so 24. 2, 4, and so 64 is for our total. I'm going to double check this because I love when I make videos and then I've made some silly math error and you guys roast me in the comments for it. So we're going to say 14 plus 18 plus 17 plus 15 is 64. Okay, phew. No roasting. Let's say I didn't give you a unit on these, but let's say it is in feet. for perimeter, you would want to say 64 feet. You always want to throw a unit on the end. If there isn't one, you can just write the word unit, 64 units. Okay, so then that's helpful for your notebook. Now the next one is example number 3 here. We are going to find the perimeter of this guy. Now this one's a little bit weird. Oh, this one we did say dimensions are in feet. This one's a little weird because it's remember I said perimeter is adding up all the sides. This is missing 2 sides. That's really annoying. But think about it like this. If we have this guy all the way across here. Now we know this whole length is 14. So this whole length up here has to equal 14 as well. Well, if we take 14 and we minus 4, we get 10, minus 2, we get 8. So at 8 plus 2 plus 4 is 14. So now this whole thing equals 14. Well, that means this guy right down here is also 8. Okay. Now this one's missing over here, but it's the same length as this guy right there. So all we have to do is say that that one is 6. I'm going to cross that out so we don't accidentally double count that. Okay, so let's do some adding here. We've got 4 and 6 is 10 and 18. So we have 18. 2 and 8 is 10 and 6 is 16. 14 and then 8. Okay, so let's add these guys up. That's 10, 16 and 10, so 26. 6, carry the 2. That's 4, 5, 56 units. So our perimeter would be 56 feet because we have our units. All right, so right below this is the practice if you hadn't already seen that. Go ahead and do that. Pause the video, do those, come on back, and then we will talk about that. Okay, so here are the practice problems. Let's start up here. There's our answers for that guy, and then our answers down here is 74. If you did not get those correct, stick around and I'll show you why. All right, so for this one, line AB, the way that we would write that is with those arrows, line AB. The 2 rays that we have, we could start at point A and go this way and say, okay, that's ray AB. Or we could start at B and go towards A, and it would be BA, because you always want to have that endpoint starting at the same spot. Our segment would be AB. Okay, so if XY is 12.3 and this total is 21.1, in order for us to find that, we would have to subtract. So I'm going to do this, 19, make this guy an 11, so that's 7, 8, so 0.8. 19 minus 12 would give me 7, so that's where we come up with our 7.8 inches, and my bad for not putting a unit on there when I showed it to you. All right, drawing these angles, an acute one, remember, has to be smaller than a right angle. Now, make sure your right angle indicates that it's a right because there's a little box in there, right? That tells me it's right. And then obtuse, and then a straight angle. Okay, for this last one, we have to find the perimeter. Now, we know that this guy right here is 4. So if I were to take this and lift that up to here, right? If I were to take this guy and lift that up to here, it would be 15. If I were to take this guy and push it over to here, this whole length is 14. So that means this guy, whoops, has to be 10. So we know that this is 10, and 15 plus 8 is going to be 23. So we know that this whole length is 23. So here's what we've got, 18. So this and this is 18, and then this is 19, 23, and 14. Okay, so we're going to add all these guys up here. So 12, so 14, 15, 16, and then 24. Carry the 2. And then that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 74. And that is how we came up with 74 centimeters. All right, if you have any questions, let me know below. Otherwise, great work, and we'll see you next time.